But I was worried. And Tyrese almost stopped. It was the strangest play because I think he thought he heard a whistle, he told us. So he almost didn't lay the ball in, which would have been even crazier. But hell of a, going to that zone and switching on and off was really good for us. Hell, what did they shoot? 78, 6, whatever in the first half. So we can only go one way defensively, we felt.
James, obviously, that big shot late was huge throughout. What did you think of his performance?
It was awesome. Kept us cool, knew when to attack, knew when to give it up. I thought he had just great patience overall.
You said yesterday you need to kind of flip a switch and be a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And that you obviously was that way early on. Was that just...
Yeah, we worked on all week those high step-ups of half court because we felt like if we can get them going downhill instead of waiting until you get into the half court and set them at the free throw line. Paul Reed and Tuck, we literally were setting our pick at half court because the floor is wide. And I thought it got Tyrese downhill, it got James downhill. I thought coming out in the second half, we made a concerted effort. Like, Tyrese, we got to get you going. We got to get you into an attack mode. He missed good shots, too, in that stretch, but he was great as well.
Doc, you've done this for a long time, including in this building. Yeah. Where does this rank just off this as a character win?
Yeah, I don't know because I've been in a lot of them. But it's a big one, obviously. I really thought the week, having a whole week, us knowing pretty much that we're not going to have Joe and working on all our stuff, which is, you don't ever get that opportunity. You really don't. And our guys staying with it. There were several times I thought, they were just scoring on us. And, we said that. We said, guys, we're going to have to score back tonight. We have to score back. We can't let them get away from us. And I thought we did that. I thought our spacing tonight was unbelievable. And that's a good thing for us moving forward.
James tied a career high with 45 playoff points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I don't know that in the 2 years that I've seen him play, I've seen him have these kind of legs. How much did the rest help him and the moment?
The rest helped. I thought the preparation helped. And I thought that he had just the perfect mindset tonight. He really did. I'm so happy for him because it just tells you what he can do on given nights, and then he can be your point guard on given nights. It just speaks, it's amazing. The guy is a Hall of Famer, and all you hear is the other stuff about him. You really do, and he was fantastic. We talked about that if they scored before. I had the one timeout, and I did not want to use that timeout. I just didn't want them to be able to set their defense up. We put George on the floor, took Paul out, had all smalls, which was scary because if they missed a free throw, we just took the gamble. I figured Tatum's not going to miss a free throw. But if he had, I don't know if they would have gotten well for us. Having said that, getting that floor space for him, he shot the three. I didn't care what he did. He was going to get that shot, and that was good for us.
Doc, did you consider that they might put a double team on James on that last shot?
Yeah, that's why I didn't want the timeout because, I think they would have, or they would have run someone. We wanted to get the switch with one of their bigs. They had the one big, I think Horford was on the floor. We felt pretty strong over the bench. If we call the timeout, they're going to run and jump them. And we got guys that we're ready for that, but we wanted the ball in James' hand, and that's why we did it.
What kind of unlocked for DeAnthony in the first half that got him going?
James and DeAnthony pretty much saved us in the first half because that game could have got away from us. And DeAnthony Melton just makes shots. He really does. He just was ready to play tonight, made big shots, made some great defensive plays with his hands. I think, going in the game, one of the keys for us is having more shots than them. We thought that was huge. We really felt like it's the only way we can beat them. We have to have more shots than them, and we did that.
And obviously, it goes without saying you did this without Joel. You could also see him there celebrating. What does it mean to not only win a game, but to win one with him out and not being sure when he's going to come back?
It's just the difference between us this year and last year. We've had practice at it, number one. And we really believe, like, James has missed games, we win. Joel has missed games, we win. That's the difference between this year's team and last year's team. We have a bunch of, street fighters, and they believe their whole thing, if we get to the fourth quarter, they've said it all week. If we can get to the fourth quarter, we're going to win the game. That's how we felt. That doesn't mean that always happens, but that's how we felt.
That defensive possession you had that led to the Maxey play, I wonder if you could just tell me how you saw that play out. And could you compute exactly what had happened there? Because, it happened so fast and everybody just stopped. It was kind of a bizarre moment.
Well, we switched everything. We started out looking like a zone, but we were actually in man because we wanted to show zone. We switched everything. We kept them in front. And then when it got down to 3 or 4 seconds, I think it was smart. I don't know who had the ball, was driving. When Tyrese caught the ball, even I'm like you. I was like, wait a minute. And I looked, and there was no one. And, I'm going. But it was the strangest, maybe one of the strangest plays I've ever seen. And it was a half a second difference. Like, if the ball had been in the air, then it's a 24-second violation. It's funny. That's one of the things the coaches have fought for. Like, even though it is, if it's sure catch, we would like them to play on.
He didn't know until we saw the scoreboard and they gave him the basket.
Yeah, Tyrese didn't know, for the record. If you watch it, he got to the free throw line and turned backwards and almost stopped because he said he thought he heard a whistle, which would have been nuts if that had happened. So I'm glad he laid it in. That's all I have to say. And I wasn't sure, Brian, honestly, when he laid it in. I thought it was good, but I wasn't positive.
Guys like Paul and Jalen in a hostile environment like that, maybe even Tyrese and DeAnthony haven't played in an environment like that ever. So
well, you're not going to play in an environment other than when you're at home with our guys, but this environment is different. It's an amazing environment. I was really happy for Paul. I'm sure they showed it on TV, but a couple of guys really got into him, and it was close to excessive. I kept him in, and I said, hey, go win the game, go do something for us. But it was pretty harsh. We got to get better at that, probably, with him. I was out with the coaches when I turned around. I mean, those the 4 or 5 rebounds. Our guys lost their mind. And, I kept, guys, it's a 3-point game. Can we just relax? I bet we said that 50 times a day. But, last year or just anybody in general, a young guy like Paul, that could have gone the other way with him. And he just hung in there and made plays for us and made free throws. Just really proud of him.
A few more guys? You said this, the difference between last year's team and this year's team. One of those guys getting into Paul was PJ, also getting into George.
Yeah.
And you got a huge game from DeAnthony. Mm-hmm. What does this say about the way the team was built?
Well, we're tougher. That was one of the things we had to do, and we're resilient. We've shown that all year. Honestly, good teams can have tough conversations, and we handled that conversation. A lot of teams, I've coached them and been on them. Guy goes at you like that, it doesn't always go well. We've seen that. We've seen that, and the fact that was handled well, he took it. And then went out and got a big rebound and made free throws. Just speaks a lot about him.
Doc, you guys only took 2 free throws through the third quarter. Was that a result of the way you were playing offense, or was it more a result of the way the game was being officiated?
I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. I think that it was the officials let us play tonight, so I'm going to say a little bit of both. We did have a stretch where we stopped getting to the paint, which we can't do, and that's when they made their run. But other than that, overall, I thought, they allowed us to play. It was a very physical game. It was a playoff game. I thought it was a well-officiated game overall. But you got to adjust to that, and I thought we did that. They were letting the bangs, they were letting it go. And I think, honestly, if I'm a fan, I'd like that more. I mean, who wants to see a free throw shooting contest, unless it's us shooting them. So,
Doc, I know you said you wanted to keep scoring with them. It was going to be one of those games, but after they start the game, I think it was like 17 of 20 and a lot of layups, a lot of transition buckets. Can you describe what the strategy was defensively the rest of the game to try and?
Well, I thought the zone changed the game for us. We went zone after they had scored the first 17 out of 20. And it just changes the rhythm. I thought it changed the game for us. I think we were 5 out of 6 stops. They scored again. We went back to man. Then they start scoring again, so we went back to zone. I thought coming out of timeouts, either going or not, I thought it helped us. They're just tough. I mean, Tatum and Brown, they make tough shots. They're just good players. They move the ball. They were back cutting us to death. Our goal was first 10 seconds of defense clearly wasn't reached in the first half. I mean, they scored in the first 10 seconds almost every time down. But in the second half, we got back and played better. So, thanks, guys.
All right, so Doc's a man who knows the building. He's been on both sides of this rivalry, and here we find them clashing once again in the postseason. Last 3 Sixers playoff wins, that is, in Boston. Most recently, 2012. Guess who was the coach of those Boston Celtics? Doc Rivers. This time around, he's on the right side of history as the Sixers go into the Garden and steal Game 1.